I just thought, interior design, why don't you try that? And I realized that a lot of people are just living below the potential. One of the key lessons I've had to overcome is the ability to get over myself. Okay, would you spend £10,000 on a sofa? Now you do have a figure in mind, so what sounds reasonable to you?
Hey London Business Babe, this community is built for us and by us to ungatekeep your next move and life in the city. If you never want to miss out, subscribe to the Substack where episodes will land straight in your inbox. Plus, every other Monday, you'll get a chance to feature on the show by shouting yourself out in the Manifest Monday email. You never know who's listening. Details in the show notes. Now, grab a cup of coffee or your favourite beverage and let's get into today's interview. Hello and welcome to Coffee and Oysters, the London Business Babe podcast, where we get you together with business tips that actually work and let you know where it's worth tapping your oyster around the city. So today's guest, super exciting. We have Dami Lawal, who is an award-winning interior designer and the founder of NateBel Interiors, a UK-based studio creating elegant, functional spaces shaped around how people truly live. With over 15 years' experience delivering complex projects across corporate and creative industries, her work is grounded in clarity, structure, and thoughtful execution. Alongside her design practice, Dami is a speaker and transformation mentor, working with individuals and leaders at different stages of life and business to rethink identity, direction, and decision-making. Through her work, she helps people redesign their lives and work in ways that are practical, intentional, and sustainable. So excited to have you here. How are things
Thank you so much,
going?
Francis. It's been all right. There's so much I'm doing at the moment. So yes, it's full on, but going smoothly. Well, not necessarily smoothly, but yeah, juggling a lot of balls. But yes, surviving and thriving.
We were just talking about this time of year. It's just like you feel like you're in a haze almost,
Yeah.
and you're just like, everyone's like, how are you? And I'm like, what a massive question to ask.
Yeah. I was talking to someone yesterday. I hadn't spoken to them since last year. So I spoke to them for the first time yesterday. And I was like, oh, Happy New Year. And I was like, hang on. We're in February. I was like, we have 11 more months to go. But how did we just celebrate Christmas yesterday?
Yeah, it's that crazy one where it's like January feels like it lasts 6 months, but at the end of it, you're like, oh, wait, there's a whole month done. I feel like we've had a little bit of a parallel journey in that we both started out in project management for like creative teams, essentially. And then we ventured into the world of designing spaces for people. In your case, interior spaces. In my case, digital spaces within Notion. And then have now branched out to this personal development wing of things. You with your transformation coaching and me with this podcast.
Yes, indeed.
Talk to me about that journey. Like, how do you hop from project management, and this is like the intense stuff, so agile delivery, scrum master, to I want to be an interior designer? Like, what was that position?
What was that journey about?
Yeah.
So straight out of uni, I studied business IT at University of Westminster. And so with that course, it allowed me to be really anything I wanted to be. So I could have come out being a software developer, a business analyst, a project manager, a systems analyst. I literally had about 12 careers that you could have from that, because it combined both the business world and the IT world. And so my first career, or my first job after coming out of uni, was project management. And I just stayed there for I graduated in 2009, so I was in it for a good 16 years, at least 16, 17 years. And like you mentioned, complex deliveries, because it was in IT. And so I've worked in different industries. I've done like software, I've done websites, I've done apps, I've done many things in terms of delivering. But I think in about 2016, 2017, I just felt like I wanted more from life. I felt like I was going through this motion in a sense, but I didn't quite feel fulfilled with life. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy project management, but I just wanted something that was more me. And yeah, and I didn't even know what that looked like. So I dabbled into events management because I was thinking that's very much like project management. It makes more sense to do that. But turned out I didn't quite like the long hours involved in that. It was quite tedious. You have weddings, you have corporate, and you're running around. I had like one or two mentors in that time that was supported. And it wasn't just working out for me. So I thought, okay, go back to the drawing board. What exactly do you like? And so I think within that time, a friend had introduced me to an app, a interior design app, a game that she was playing. And she posted it on Instagram back then. And I saw that and I was like, oh, what is that game? And then she sent the link to me. And then I decided to download the game and play it. I was doing that for months. And then I was bold enough to start putting my visualization design on Facebook. And people were complimenting me. I was like, okay. And I thought, okay. So one day I was at work and I just thought, interior design, why don't you try that? And I was like, what? I didn't even think I had a creative bone in me. But then I decided to just sign up for the course, sign up for a course at KLC. I'm not even sure what that means, but it's one of the best design schools in the UK. And so I did that for 3 years and then got my first gig as an interior designer. And I started my business then.
Amazing. And you were still doing that alongside your job, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how people do that, but I needed some sort of.
Yeah.
And so I said to myself, I'll give myself 3 months to see how this goes, and then if it doesn't work out, I will go back to project management. And then what happened in 2020? A lockdown, coronavirus lockdown happened. There were no jobs. Everything was frozen. So I was forced to work in my business for the next 2 years fully. And I think that's what really gave me the headspace to put structures in place. Because I feel like if I hadn't done that, or if COVID didn't happen, if lockdown didn't happen, if the jobs didn't dry up, I would have gone back to project management and still be living a very unfulfilled, unhappy life. Does that make sense? So yeah.
Project management is a weird one. As someone who comes from that space, it's something you just kind of like fall into and then you just stay there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Like you can just comfortably be a project manager forever. Like it's quite a safe career.
Yeah.
In that sense. But is it fulfilling? Not for everyone.
No, but to be honest, with what I do now as an interior designer, many people think it's just about aesthetics and beautifying spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully agree with you.
I think the skills that I had in my corporate job actually was transferable to this. And that's why I'm able to work so effortlessly in this new role as an interior designer that I'm in. So yeah, I think it really worked out well for me because I had good years, almost 2 decades of experience in just pure project management and IT systems, but able to bring that sort of structure and routine into my interior design business.
Amazing. And so then along the way, there was a switch up from designing people's external spaces to looking at their internal spaces, like their personal development. Like, what was that transition like?
It's so interesting that you said internal spaces because I actually wrote a book last year called Design Your Interiors, Design Your Insides. I think for me, transformation, I mean, in IT project, it was a transformation. And I'm taking a space. I'm taking you from one state to a better state in anything. So with project management, I was taking apps from either a non-existent state or a poorly existent state to a better state. In interior design, I take people's homes and workspaces and, it's from one state to another. And I wanted to apply the same principle in people's lives because I realized that transformation is something that I really love. I love helping people, specifically helping people live a better life and achieve more for themselves. And this came about from speaking to a lot of people, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, started speaking to a lot of people, and I just, encouraging them to actually step out and be bold and, do stuff for themselves that they actually love and feel fulfilled about it. And many times what I heard back was, oh, I'm too scared. I don't know where to go about it. I remember speaking to someone I met on Instagram. She had designed her home. It was so beautiful. And she used to post a lot of pictures around this. This was around COVID time. She put a lot of pictures around on Instagram, and everyone would comment to say, this is beautiful. She designed the home herself. And then I was speaking to her on the phone one day, and then, she called me to say that she had, over the last few years, she had received a lot of requests from people to help them design their homes, and she's rejected. And she was like, yeah, that she just didn't feel that she was qualified for it. I said, you've done your whole house. And so I had like a good 2 hour conversation with her. And I realized that a lot of people are just living below the potential, just
Mm.
happy to be stuck with whatever they're doing, be it from lack, be it from fear, be it from whatever it is. And so I thought, you know what? I actually need to do something to help people, So what is it? So many times what I actually do in helping people transform is getting over, fear and yeah, anything basically that could actually stop you from fulfilling purpose. But I've also just ventured into transformation because I realized that it can transform your life in many areas, but purpose is one of my key areas in terms of pursuing purpose and fulfilling purpose. So, yeah.
Do you carry those skills of personal transformation into your interior design clients as well? Like, at least I find in my line of work, when I transform people's digital workspaces, a lot of that actually has to do with transforming themselves as well. Like,
Mm.
they have to know themselves and know what they
Yeah.
want on a
Mindset.
personal
Yeah.
level in order to
Yeah.
get like the end product of like the space, I
Yeah.
guess. And so
Yeah.
do you often find yourself almost being like a therapist for your interior design
I think
clients?
sometimes yes, because interior design it's not a few days to weeks job, it's many times over months. And
Yeah.
so I find myself, and obviously in those months you're building good relationship with your clients. So it could be very off topic and you're just talking about something and then you just chip that in, but not necessarily like a session where I am coaching you or mentoring you or anything like that. It's just chipping in to say, oh, have you tried this? And many times, a lot of people are quite interested in knowing how I started. And so when I give them my background, they're quite impressed with that. And I just chip in, yeah, it's always good to, do what you really love and what brings you fulfillment. And so that just really opens up the conversation there. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think as well from an outside perspective, unfortunately, creatives get a lot of flack for being unorganized. So I'm assuming if you're coming to a new client and you're like, I have this extensive career in project management, I feel
Management,
like
yeah.
that almost puts in a level of trust of like, okay, she's really creative and she does all this amazing stuff, but we're actually going to get this across the line.
Yeah,
Do you ever
yeah,
have
most
that kind of
definitely.
reaction?
Yeah, I think from just the way my business is structured, because there are different layers and different processes before we actually get to the design stages. And so even that gives them that level of trust because I'm quite organized in how I do things, down to how I send emails, down to how I send invoices. So clients can see that there's already structure, even though it's a small business, and I think that really gives them some layer of confidence in using me and continuing with the project. So yeah, that's what, but I feel like I've put that structure in place even for my own self to come across as not being scattered, more organized, and I know when things are happening per time.
So let's go back slightly. Like I feel like if I had to, we've said it a few times, but if I had to sum you up in a word, it would be transformation,
Yeah.
essentially. Like, is that something that started as a child, or can you think about where that came from in your life?
I think I'm just someone who is very big on personal improvement.
Mhm.
Yeah. Maybe it started off as a child, maybe it's innate. I'm not quite sure. But I'm really big on improving myself. I'm really big on being a better person, being a more knowledgeable person, So if I get feedback, and I always ask for feedback with everything that I do, even my friends, my close friends, I ask them for feedback. So how did I perform this year? What sort of feedback do you have for me? What sort of improvement points do you have for me? I do that with my close friends because I always want to be better. So I always want to be in a better state. I always want to have, yeah, I want to be the best version of myself at any point that you meet me. So I want you to be able to look back and say, the Dami I met 10 years ago is not quite the Dami I know today. She has improved. She is better in this area. And I think that's so for me, that's quite innate. And I think that's sort of a passion is what I translate into everything that I do.
Amazing. And as you've been building up these businesses, are there any lessons that you've learned along the way, ways that you've improved how things work or how things flow, or even how you operate as a business owner?
I think one of the things that I've had to, and I'm still working on it, is my ability to show myself. I'm someone that is very private. Oh, I thought I was. I think I'm private. I'm not quite sure what I am actually. So for a long time, I would have an Instagram profile and I'll have that on private. But one of the key biggest lessons or hurdles I've had to overcome is the ability to get over myself and just do what I have to do and show myself and be proud of myself and the journey. I remember when I first started, when I first got the interior design gig that I had in 2019, when that finished in, I think, January or February 2020, I was so scared to actually put the work on social media. I I knew I was good at it. A lot of people had seen the work and they were like, oh, this is good, Dami, but just putting myself out there as that, So for a good 6 months to 1 year, what I'll do is post and throw my phone away for like 2 hours. I just didn't want to see any comments or likes so I'll either turn my phone off or put in a room or something like that. So I think that's one of the biggest hurdles I've had to overcome. The fact that I can be confident in who I am and what I do and just show my work and be proud of where I am. And many times when I do that, I'll get so many compliments. Wow, this is stunning. This is beautiful. What a transformation. And I'll be like, oh, okay, people are liking this. It's not so bad. And I think it's also the fact that I'm hard on myself too, because I have the sense of always being perfect and I'm trying to overcome because it's okay to mess up from time to time as long as you're learning from that. So it's okay to fail as long as you're failing forward, as long as you're learning the lessons and you're incorporating that in whatever you do in the future. So I think for me, that's one of the biggest lessons I have learned in business. Another thing I'm learning now that I am fully in my interior design business is how to be, I think it's the sales and marketing side of the business too, in that with a full-time job, being a full-time employee, regardless of the business doing well or not, you are getting your income, your paycheck. With a business, if you're not chasing clients, no one's going to come to you. So you really have to be like a hunter every day, finding new clients. And that is something I'm learning now that, oh, you can't be passive about business. You actually have to go out there and actively look for clients through relationships, referrals, and just knocking down people's doors and be annoying. So yeah, I'm learning that.
And what are the type of clients that you work with?
I work with a lot of just normal people who want to have like the residential properties done. I've worked with small businesses in terms of maybe their workspace is a commercial space. I've worked with Airbnbs.
Nice.
So yeah, I've done that. So, but obviously I'm looking to work with bigger clientele going forward. So that's the dream.
Amazing. And how do you find them and how do they find you, I suppose?
I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll figure it out.
Fair enough. Any sales hacks that they can be as weird as they need to be that you're like, well, this tends to push people across the line. Have you found anything like that yet?
I think for me with interior design, many times clients don't have a clue how much they want to spend on a project. So they don't have a clue. So I'm asking them and prompting them, how much do you want to spend? And we're like, honestly, Dami, I don't know how much this thing's cost. And I'm like, okay, so would you spend £10,000 on a sofa? They'll be like, whoa. I'm like, okay, so you do have a figure in mind. so, so you do have a figure in mind. So what sounds reasonable to you? Oh, they'll be like, okay, maybe £2,000, £3,000. I'm like, yeah, that's it. So one of my sales tactic is to go ridiculous, like call a ridiculous price. And then that would jolt them to say, right, okay, not that expensive. And then we can then start working and then have an idea of what sort of budget I'm working with or what is comfortable for them as a project to spend on, to invest in. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the dream is the one day you ask that question and they're like, yeah, I would
Yeah.
actually. And you're like, okay.
But like, is it just 10,000? I thought it was like 50 for one sofa. I'm like, yay.
You're like, so my fee is this.
So yeah.
Fair enough. And so I'm curious in terms of the business model and like making money, because you've got like several wings of how you earn income. Like, how do interior designers like structure like how they get paid? Like, because there's a budget, but then also you have to get paid.
Yeah.
And then how much of your income right now is coming from like the interior design part of your business versus like your personal transformation side? And how does the business model work over there as well?
Yeah.
Like, how does money work for you, as much as you want to get into detail?
Yeah. So to be honest, like you mentioned, the interior design fees are very different from how much a client is willing to invest in the project. And when I say invest, I mean actually the sourcing of the furniture and whatnot. So the interior design fees covers the design, what I produce as a design, covers my own services. And so the first step is always to have a detailed conversation with the clients as to what they're trying to achieve in their property, in their home, within this space. So it could be a little project like maybe just one space in their home, or it could be a full-on, we just bought a new house. It's a 5-bed house. We want everything designed. So it really depends on the size of the project. But one of the things I always do is to go and I'll sit down with them first and then work out what they're trying to achieve, what their vision is for the project, and then go back and give my own fees based on what I estimate it to be, the project to be. And then obviously once that's done, they're signed off on that, we're good on what my fees are. And I make sure it's very clear that this is separate from the furniture budget, So they're clear on that. I then just structure how I want that paid, how much percentage comes out from at the first sign off of the project, and then at what subsequent stages the remaining percentages come through. So right now, it really depends on the size of the project I'm working on in terms of what comes in from one side of the business to another side of the business. So if I do have like a really big project, like a whole house transformation, that obviously is a chunk of money, but that also, although it's a chunk of money as what's written on the paper, it obviously comes in drips, like I mentioned, depending on the size of the project. So I would say definitely the interior design business as a business itself can generate a chunk of money. The mentoring and transformational coaching business also, again, you're chasing people. I feel like the skill of chasing people, I am really adjusting to it. And so I usually have that by, like coaching sessions, which I am really trying to ensure that I'm doing that maybe once a quarter. And over maybe a few weeks, I dedicate like every week to it so that I'm not burnt out from doing multiple things at the same time. Also run, so like sometime in January, on the 10th of January, I ran an event. I hosted an event called Redesign Your Life to Fulfill Purpose.
Amazing.
So, and it was women's only. So that was really, really good. And I really talked about purpose, and I talked about key areas of your life that you need to redesign and, in a sense, to transform. And it was really, really impactful. So those are the kind of things I do. So there's a number of things that I do in terms of this interior design business, which, due to the size of it and just the nature of it, there's a lot of flexibility in there for me to be able to do other things. And so it's just, as long as I am structured in my timing and nothing is impacting anything else, I'm good. And obviously the dream is to grow the business, have more employees in the business, so that it frees me up to be able to do other things that I really want to do in that time. So that's the goal at the end of the day.
Do you have anyone else that works with you now on either side?
Yeah, I have a virtual assistant. I've had people that have shown interest in interior design that I'm sort of mentoring, but the goal is to have that. So I have people that, they've said that they're interested, and I'd be like, okay, for me to know that you're serious, for you to prove to me that you're serious, because the last thing I want to do is to mentor you for 6 months and then I don't see any fruit from it. I don't see you doing anything with it. And I just feel like, show me you're serious by going to design school. That's how I qualify serious people. So are you willing to invest in yourself before I pour into you? So that's one way of doing it. So I work with like freelancers too, a lot of people. So I have a team of tradesmen that I can call on. In terms of the design aspect of it, I really want to be able to get somebody else on board that I can hopefully train and that can be part of the business from the early stages on.
Amazing. Manifesting that for you.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And along the way, like, what have been some of your favorite transformations that you've done? That could be interior, that could be the personal side. What have been some standout moments for you?
First, I think my very first project, because that was my first project. And regardless of how many projects I do, I think I would always remember that.
Yeah. What was the project?
I'd gone to design school. Everyone that cared to know about my life knew I was in design school. And so one day in November, I sat down, I was watching TV, and I got a call from my brother to say that he was going into the Airbnb business and he had just acquired his first 3-bed property. And so he wanted me to redo it. And I was like, oh, fantastic. Obviously, he paid me because, hey, let's leave family aside.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Charity starts at home.
he's actually invested a lot in my business. I'll give that to him. He called me and I did that. I finished that in like January, February 2020. The person that was living in the property came back to pick up some letters. They saw the transformation. I thought, whoa, this house that I once lived in can be like this. Because they had just bought a property, he then called me to say, can you do my property for me? So that one job led me to another job in lockdown. And that's how it's sort of transformed over time. So that I would never forget. And I'll never forget that journey. Had I not done that job so well, I probably wouldn't have gotten the next job. And I wouldn't have been able to build some sort of clientele, or portfolio. And so I think for me, that journey always sticks with me. But also, I love the fact that I can take spaces from a blank space to being, whoa. One of the projects I worked on 2 years ago, the client said to me they wanted an Instagrammable house.
That's very broad, right?
That they wanted it to be so well done that they could take pictures anywhere and it looks beautiful.
Okay.
So I knew what I was working with. And I really liked that because I walk into that house and it looks like a show home.
Nice.
And that's how. So I did it to the clients again didn't have a budget, but I really worked with it to be able to give them what they wanted, even though, but it was good enough for them to love it and recommend me. So that was or transformation. That's another transformation I'll not forget in a long time. But one that sticks with me from the personal side is that I was working with a client last year, an older lady. God, I don't know if I call them kids, young adults in university. So we just talked about her story, talked about what he wanted, what her likes were, what her passions were. And she said she liked gifts, putting gifts together like hampers and stuff like that. But she just didn't know. She'd done it before, but she didn't know how to make it a business. And I thought, right, okay. Many people think of hampers and they just think of it as Christmas hampers. I said you can do hampers for anything, you know. You do hampers for baby showers, you can do hampers for Valentine's Day, you can do hampers for Father's Day and Mother's Day, you know. And even though both we're not working together anymore, I see her on my social media, and I still saw her yesterday or 2 days ago put up hampers for Valentine. And I thought, this is it. And this is someone that very much like me was scared to post on social media. She only had like 2 followers when we started on Instagram. And and then over Christmas, she had the same thing. And she DM'd me or WhatsApped me to say, Dami, from posting consistently over Christmas, I've had 6 orders.
Wow.
And this was
Amazing.
someone who was, so I see that journey. And honestly, it just makes me a bit teary that I was able to help someone get out of that, state of mind to actually believe in themselves and do the work, even without me pushing them and motivating them.
Fantastic. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah. And that brings joy and fulfillment to me to be able to see another person winning. I love that. And that's why I do what I do, to be honest. So yeah.
Amazing. What are some of the trends that you're seeing in that people are constantly asking for in both sides of your business?
So with interior design, I think many people that I work with have like a modern interior design style. So some of them might have contemporary. I'm not necessarily one to, I mean, when someone says that they've seen something that's trendy right now, I always just, maybe it's my project management side of things, sort of, also just ensuring that they understand the risks of what they're asking me to design. Because trends fade. And then what's left with that? Are you in the next 5 years then going to replace this trend? Or because I like designing timeless. I want you to be able to, I'm very, very intentional about how I mix those things like colors and what I really incorporate in my designs. So when clients say that they want, something that's trendy, something that they've seen around now, I'm like, fantastic. But do you understand that this is going to fade away in the next few years? And as long as they understand that, then I'm good with it. So, but I still try and incorporate some sort of timeless piece. So even if they do have to make any changes to their homes in a few years' time, it's not key items. It's not the most expensive things that they have to change, so they can easily just maybe paint a wall or change the artwork or change the cushions, just something that brings a distinct difference without necessarily having to revamp the space or the room. In personal life, I'm not quite sure there are any trends. I feel like people just know what they want, or they might not know what they want, and you just have to prod them into, this is what you want.
Fair enough. And what's next for you? Is there anything you're working on that you're excited to tell people about?
One of the things I'm doing now with the personal side of things is I have decided to focus more my mentoring aspect of things, to focus more on the young adults. So over the last few months, I've gone back to my old uni, University of Westminster, to sign up for to be a mentor to students. October last year, I was mentoring business management students, and they were so curious. They loved it. It was good. I like that. The fact that I was able to just pour into the next generation and back again. different campus. This time, the computer science students. And yesterday, I met with some of the students there, and we were talking about their business information systems projects, very similar to what I did when back in my own days. And so, just really being able to help them and help them think about different ways to work on the projects and how to succeed in that was really, really helpful. So I think I'll be doing that a lot, and maybe just incorporating that into the mentoring aspects of what I do too. So yeah.
Exciting. Yeah, it always feels good when you can pour back into something that poured into you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, London Business Babe. This community is built for us and by us to ungatekeep your next move and life in the city. If you never want to miss out, subscribe to the Substack where episodes will land straight in your inbox. Plus, every other Monday, you'll get a chance to feature on the show by shouting yourself out in the Manifest Monday email. You never know who's listening. Details in the show notes. Now, grab a cup of coffee or your favorite beverage and let's get into today's interview. Well, thank you so much for walking us through your business journey. Now we're going to pivot into fun stuff.
So, okay.
Things that bring you joy and peace. And so I always start this section off with music. Like, do you have a hype song? Like a song that you put on and you're like, oh, like this is about to be a good day.
It's an old one. And the artist is dead, but I love it. I'm not even sure what the name of the song is, but it's by Notorious B.I.G. I think featuring 112. Sky's the limit when you know that you keep on pressing on. Sky's the limit when you know that you can have what you want, be what you want. Sky's the limit when you know that. My ultimate hype song, because it makes me realize that the sky's the limit as long as I know what I want and I'm working towards achieving it.
I love that. You know what? I've never really deeped that song before. I think I'm going to listen to it after this because that is such an underrated track.
Yeah, I love it.
And now let's talk about like your day to day. Are there any personal policies that you have to implement that like keep you grounded? I always talk about mine, but like I don't take calls before 10 if I can really avoid it.
Unfortunately, I can't implement that because suppliers could be calling me, courier companies. Oh, we come in at 7:30 a.m. and giving me 5 missed calls. So unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. But one of the things I've implemented is no calls after 10 p.m. So my phone automatically goes on Do Not Disturb between 10 and 9 a.m. Well, my personal phone, the business line still is working because I know that it's only far and few calls I'll be getting. I'm not going to be getting that constantly. So, but I don't necessarily want the constant app notifications from my personal phone coming through. I'm not a big fan of WhatsApp. So I only use it only because I have to use it, not because I love it. So I have that role. So when I was in the corporate world, I liked having all my meetings in the morning. So my stand-ups, and as a project manager, I used to have a lot of meetings. And because the reason why I did that, and I would block out time to have, I'm not sure what I used to call it, maybe me time or focus time. So focus time will start after lunch till the end of the day. And that's because I realized that if I was working to everyone's time, or I didn't block out time for my own work, I'll be constantly in meetings, troubleshooting, doing different things, as opposed to maybe doing research or gathering information to put in my reports and stuff like that. Do you get what I mean? And that context switching doesn't help you at all, going from maybe you're working on something for 30 minutes and then someone just calls you up to a meeting for 10 minutes and you've just lost your whole train of thought, and then getting back to that is quite hard. So I just have that focus time, and everyone knew that once Dami has her headphones on, do not disturb. So yeah. And so I work at home now, and I don't really have anyone disturbing me that much. So yeah.
It's important. I've actually even realized with my own practice that just based on how my business is structured this year, that I need to time block out like time available on my calendar for like my big chunky client builds
Yeah.
versus my availability for if people
Yeah.
book in a sales call. 'Cause
Yeah.
that needs to be a
Yeah.
completely separate block because
Yeah.
otherwise the back and forth it's really
Yeah.
chunky.
Yeah.
You
No,
don't
I
leave
hear you.
yourself enough time and it's a whole thing. But
Yeah. I learned that
yeah.
from one of my previous managers who would stay, because he was a manager, one of the things I'll see him do. But when everyone's leaving, that's when he's just working. So it's at 5:36 that he'll be like, oh yeah, let me focus on the things I have to do for myself. I'm like, you getting paid for this extra 3 hours that you're spending here? So, but I learned that and I was like, you know what? There's a way to bring that in without you necessarily having to stay back, behind. And obviously, I'm not in his position. I'm not getting that well paid. So maybe if I was getting that well paid, I might stay behind. But
It was like, you do not pay me enough for this. I'm sorry.
you know. So yeah.
Amazing. And our style, like, how would you describe your personal uniform? And like, are there any brands that you lead towards or even style icons that you look to?
I'm fashionable. I'm not stylish.
Yeah.
I think stylish is the one where you can wear like exaggerated stuff. Which one is it? There's a difference between fashionable and stylish.
I think style is personal to the individual. Like, I
Yeah,
think
so
everyone is stylish, but
yeah.
it's just their self-expression.
Yeah. I am not industry-wide stylish. Like, I'm not what the industry will call stylish. But I like wearing good things. I like wearing things that are maybe very simple, but work for my body. And when I wear that, even regardless of how simple or how affordable they may be, I get compliments from it. It's just the way you combine colors and it's just mixing work for you. So you're buying things that work with your body structure that fits well. So I like that a lot. So I could buy anything. I don't have a particular brand. Whatever I can afford, that's what I buy. I had when I was much younger, I had a rule though. I don't know if maybe I've upped my budget, but I had a rule never to spend more than £100 on an item. And that really helped me because I remember my cousin used to work in Karen Millen. This was many years ago. And you know how Karen Millen is.
Yeah.
I really you step into the shop and you just want to buy everything. You're just like, I could spend my whole savings on the shop. And so I wanted to buy a coat in December, Christmas period, and it was a structured coat. I still have that coat till date. I wanted to buy it, and I saw that it was like even at the reduced price with her own discounts and everything, it was still coming down to £150. It's still up to one budget. And so I'm not sure what I did. Maybe I waited it out, or maybe I asked her to reserve it. I'm not sure what I did until it dropped further in price. And then I was able to buy it. I'm just hoping that it falls in the bracket of my pricing. But I think I've increased my price range. I remember when I bought this Bose headphones. This was a few years ago too. And I bought it for so I'm talking about money here. It's not really I'm just talking about principle.
Yeah.
So most of the Bose headphones that you find are either black or white. They didn't have any colorful ones, at least back then. And this was really nice. When I saw that, it's like, I really like this. And so I was looking, and I saw it was probably like 400 or something pounds. And I was like, boy, you must be producing. The sound must be, the sound must be so clean. And so one day I was at home and then I saw it was a weekday and I saw that it had reduced, I think, about £100. And I went in there and that was probably like one of the very few times I broke my principle. And I saw that, and that was because this particular color and everything I wanted was, and it was 300 and something pounds. And I thought, Dami, just buy it. But what had happened was I'd gotten some money back. tax rebate. So I thought, right, okay. I mean, it's not quite in the account yet. Well, it's just got in.
Free money.
So if I pull it out, whatever remains is what is in the account. It's not settled and it's not mixed with my own money yet. So just pull it out. And so I bought that. But I remember speaking to my friend. I told her how much I bought it. She was like, Dami, I've never seen you buy that amount of anything before. It's not like you don't have the money. You just are so principled as to what you're going to spend money on. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize that my personal principles have been noted by the people around me. But yeah, it's just that kind of thing. But in terms of fashion, not necessarily. Whatever looks good, whatever's affordable that I can buy. I usually buy items on sales. That's go to a website. Oh, I don't like buying in shops. I like buying online. I don't like the hassle. Do
Amazing.
that, buy online, and then first section I look at is the sales section, see what's interesting in there. And then if nothing is quite interesting, I go to the main one and then save the items that I want on there. You leave it for a few days to see, does it drop in price? Do I get a discount? Did they notice that it's in my basket and give me like a 20% discount? So yeah. But I also want to talk about skincare.
Yes. Tell us about your beauty must-haves.
Yeah. So with makeup and skincare, I think for me, I don't necessarily buy expensive stuff. So I like the brand Ordinary. I like Garnier too. They're quite affordable. I think Ordinary is about £10-15 for a bottle.
Yeah, it's really affordable.
Yeah, very affordable. But they do the work, so you don't really have to spend a lot of money to get good skin or to get good skincare. So Ordinary works. So I use that. I have a combination of serums and stuff that I use all together. So that just all works for me. And I mix that with Garnier. I feel like Garnier is a really good brand.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to you guys. But I use Garnier, the vitamin C range works for me. Yeah. And then in terms of makeup, again, so I had 3 kinds of makeup or 3 kinds of look that I go for. I have like my ordinary everyday, like, oh, I have a quick meeting, just jump on and wear something. I have hang out with the girls, hang out with family for a few hours, makeup. And I have I need to look super good makeup. And I'm talking about the brands here. So this one I'm currently wearing, although it's very light, is Iman. And I know Iman is not around anymore. But I really love the products when she had them. And I bought one from the States many years ago that I found the powder and I was like, oh, you're still here. And I started using it. And then when I'm going out with the girls or, maybe for a few hours, I think it's Estee Lauder Double Wear, the liquid foundation. Really good on the skin, works, blends in again. And then when I'm going out, proper all out, I would wear my Dior.
Yeah.
I've
had people mention Dior before.
Yeah, it has a midnight blue cap. Really good. It does wonders to your skin. And then pairing that with a ruby woo lipstick.
Incredible. I hasn't heard that method before of tearing the makeup brands, but that makes sense.
Because I just want to be able to wear the appropriate. I can't wear my Dior. Dior is quite expensive. Well, for me, it's expensive. And I thought, I'm not going to this is not everyday wear. I'm going to buy this every month at this rate. So I only just wear it when I need to, maybe a few times a month. So yeah.
And now let's switch gears a bit. Let's talk tech and productivity. What are your favorite tools and apps that you use to keep yourself organized? And even as an interior designer, what are some of the industry tools that people should know about if they want to go down this field?
Okay. I still like a good old-fashioned write things by hand. I like my to-do list every day. I write that down only because there's something with the brain. I'm writing things down. I like scribbling. Just generally, that's who I am. I also use a lot of Google Workspace apps. make sure that everything in that I have to do is in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, the other day I was panicking. I was like, I know I have this podcast coming up. I was like, I know it's in February, but what day in February? And I was like, I'm hoping I have saved this in the calendar. Because one of the things I always try and do also, because my life is so busy, is to ensure that I give myself, like, depending on how long to go the meeting is or the event is, I'll give myself like a 1 week reminder, 3-day reminder. Like I need it to be constantly in my face for me to be able to know. So about 3 days ago, reminded me. I was like, oh yeah, I have this. I have this. So yeah, it was well enough for me to prepare on. I also have a virtual assistant that really helps me just ensure that my life is put together. I give her a number of things for her to do just so that I can stay productive on the key things that she's not able to do. So obviously working on many things together at the same time, I need a lot of content. And so she ensures that I have the right content that goes on the right platforms, whatever time, So she just does all of that, does the editing, does the script writing and everything for me, just so that she makes my life easier. I think if you're going into design, you need things like you need some sort of design. Well, you need a few design tools. So you need at least one for your technical drawings. So you can use things like your Canva, you can use Photoshop, you can use whatever works for you in that regard. And then more technical is your like your SketchUp. I like SketchUp. I have SketchUp, and then SketchUp also, I think when you use that with another some of the apps, like your visualization apps, that can easily just churn out like a 3D from a design that you've produced. But obviously all of that is subscription based. So yeah, it's having all of that in there. And then you have your administrative tools, like things that turn out your invoices and whatnot. So yeah. And then I have an accountant that does my taxes.
Yeah, pick up the accountants.
Really.
Oh, hey again. Did you know there are roughly 100,000 London business babes out there? And we're on a mission to reach as many as possible. Enjoying what you hear? To support the hours of work that goes into making this special, you can either A, consider supporting directly as a paid monthly Substack subscriber to also unlock future exclusive content for less than a coffee and a croissant. B, any brands listening? We'd love to explore ways for you to be part of the journey. C, at the very least, on your next co-working date, tell a fellow London business babe about us. Details in the show notes. Now let's jump back in. Thank you for sharing. And everything that you mentioned is going to be in your profile page for people to look through and like dive into the different things that you mentioned. Now we're going to do quickfire London recommendations.
Okay.
So, where are you based?
So I'm on the outskirts of London and Essex, like Dagenham area, which is still London Borough of Barkingham-Dagenham, but it's based in Essex. Which is quite interesting.
You have a tube.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm based in Dagenham, Essex. The address is Essex, but yeah, Dagenham, Essex. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything on your London bucket list at the moment?
I have never seen Buckingham Palace.
Oh, okay. Like from the outside or like going in?
Yeah, but on the outside, I've seen it, I've driven past it, but I've never been in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
So I've never done that. I've never gone on the tour bus before. So I think it's just like maybe like a cousin or someone comes to the country and wants to explore. I always find a way to just delegate that to someone else to do. Because I'm like, girl, I don't know anywhere in London. I don't know any tour sites in London. I know of them, but I don't know. I haven't experienced them before. So maybe sometime soon I'll experience it and I'll be like, oh my God.
Fair enough.
But I just feel like there's more to life than that. And my rest and joy comes from me just hanging out with family and friends. I don't really like being out. Like every time I'm out, I can't wait to come back in and just watch TV. That's the kind of girl I am.
Let's talk about some of the places maybe that you might have enjoyed going out to, if you have any that you want to recommend. Like, are there any
Yeah.
food spots that you love in
Oh, I'm a
London? Even like,
foodie.
yeah.
I am a foodie. I have different ranges depending on what we're doing. I like a good old, okay, let's just have a quick lunch at Wagamama or what's that Thai place?
Rosa's Thai.
No. Oh, I like Rosa's
Ca-
Thai.
Catering?
It's a popular one. It's Wagamama and Thai. Oh,
Giggling Squid?
no. I can't
Oh,
remember. Let me
oh,
try and Thai restaurants. I know there's one in there's one Wasaba.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Wasaba. I like that. If I am going to something more up end, I like Hakkasan. There's a I think there's one. I'm not sure if it's Hakkasan's relative. I think they're very closely, you know, very similar to Hakkasan. I can't remember the name, but it's in Liverpool Street. I've been there a few times, and the food is really good.
Good.
Yeah, it's I can't remember, but really good.
Okay.
But it's in Liverpool Street. If I find it, maybe I can send it to you one way or another.
Okay. All
Yeah, but
good.
Hakkasan is good.
Amazing. And are you much of like a cafe co-working spot person?
I like working from home only because I'm doing so many things at the same time. I'm in meetings many times, so I really want to just have that quiet without any background noise. But many times I'm in meetings in the day, so I have to be in a quiet space with less disruptions, interruptions. Yeah.
Okay.
Not necessarily, but I have worked in Starbucks a few times, but not that's very infrequent.
Are there any like membership groups or networking collectives that you're a part of and have found valuable to shout out?
Yeah, I used to be in Albright.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I've been in Albright a few times. Yeah, I think that's a really good one. But one of the things I'm finding more and more of is that a lot of people are creating their own community now, so much
Mm.
smaller. So I mean, a few of those not necessarily famous or big communities, but quite impactful. And I think for someone like me, I like being in those small communities because that's where you can really absorb. When it's too large, sometimes you lose the essence of it. And so I find that that's what works for me. I'm not necessarily saying that big groups don't work in general. I just feel like the smaller ones where you're able to just really know what's happening in another person's life and just learn from them works better. For me, one of the things I loved about something like Albright was the fact that they always brought different people to come and speak, and you can learn from them too.
Don't worry if it's a lot to take in. All of the amazing tools, spots, and recommendations mentioned by our guests can be found in the Coffee and Oysters guide. Details in the show notes.
Well, thank you for sharing. And to wrap up,
Alright.
I love to say that we are our own biggest cheerleaders and everyone else's biggest cheerleaders. Is there a recent win that you want to celebrate for yourself and of someone else?
I think my first event, the Redesign Your Life event, was definitely something big for me because I've never hosted an event before. I really didn't know what the turnout was going to be, but it was something I did, and I put a lot of energy into that, and the turnout, the feedback has been incredible since then. The fact that people were able to leave there and know what to do with their lives, what to do for the year. I really like hearing feedback like that. So it was really good, and I might do it again this year. So that is my big win, at least for this year. So watch out, watch this space. There'll be bigger ones to come.
Saying,
And yeah, that's it.
is,
Another question?
was there anything that you would like to celebrate for that someone else has done as well?
Oh, one of my friends. Let me just get it right.
Yeah, well, good.
She was celebrating. She just got a new job.
Ew.
She is someone I really admire. very intelligent. She's an accountant. I've known her for the better part of my life. I know her like almost half of my life is what I mean. And she has just her career has just been really admirable. But recently she's joined, I'm not sure what her role is, but she's joined this digital innovation banking at one of the big banks in the UK. I mean, she used to work in that bank, but she just pivoted to that. And that's because she had taken a course and an exam last year. And she just did that. I think she knew she wanted to do that. She did that and she passed it. And it's so interesting that the minute she passed it, her boss called her to say, "Oh, we're looking to open this arm of the business, and you're the only one that's qualified to do that at the moment because she's just taken this exam thing."
Amazing.
But she's definitely in that team. And so, yes, she is someone that I really admire, and I'm so well pleased for her what she's achieved so far. And everywhere that she's worked, one of the things I always say to her is that she lives outside of London, but I always say to her, Canary Wharf is a second home because she's worked in so many banks in Canary Wharf. So she is really doing good for herself.
Amazing.
I can mention her name. I know she'll be shy, but her name is Jimmy Jimoke. So shout out to Jimmy. I see you, and well done on all the hard work you're doing. You inspire people like us. So yeah.
And I also like to say, you never know who's listening. Is there anything you would like to plug? And is there anything that you need help with?
I mean, if you're an interior designer, you're looking to be an interior designer or something, give me a shout out. If you have some sort of little experience in interior design and you want someone to work with, I'm definitely someone, even if it's on a part-time basis, definitely please reach out to me on my LinkedIn or an email. And I also wrote a book. I don't have it right in front of me. But if you go on Amazon and type in "design your interiors" with a hyphen between between the in and the interiors, or just type in Dami Lawal, my name will come up. So yes, that's a book I wrote, and that's on personal transformation.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll make sure to link that in the show notes.
Thank you. Thank you. I have found a restaurant.
Oh, okay. What's the restaurant?
I'm not sure I know how to pronounce it. It's Yawa Cha, YAUACCHA.
Oh, okay.
Yawa. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
Very
Really
cool.
good.
And finally, what is your dream collaboration? Dream big. Again, you don't know who's listening or who this could be sent to. So
I would love to work with a property developer in Dubai or Qatar, somewhere in the Middle East. I think they're doing amazing work there, and to be able to have that on your portfolio will be incredible. So whoever is in the UK right now hearing this and you're thinking, "Oh, we just need someone to come in." Hey, I'm your girl. So yeah, I would love to have that. Someone that I really, really love and I love her work is Sophie Patterson. I think many aspiring interior designers and young interior designers look to her a lot as this as a mentor or someone that has industry experience. So yes, I do appreciate and I love her work because she brings out different things and inspires a lot of us that are watching her. So yeah.
well, this has been a fabulous episode. I'm so excited.
Thank
for
you so
this
much, Frances.
to go. Yeah, any closing thoughts? Where can people find you? All of that good stuff.
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Dami Lawal. I'm also on Instagram at the Dami Lawal. So just put the THE Dami Lawal, one word. Same as TikTok and on YouTube, the same. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. Really enjoyed this. Yeah, really enjoyed it. So thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening. Get in touch at coffeeandoysters@gmail.com. Stay connected at Coffee and Oysters Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And never miss out by subscribing to Substack. Details in the show notes. And most importantly, keep those 5-star ratings coming and see you next time.